Hey, look. How did these get here? I mean, really, how did those get there? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Between the Sharks. Cadillac needs an oil change. Now, I bought this lift a while back. There's a video somewhere here. After searching for a long time, but all I did was put the little Jeep Wrangler up on it just for fun, rode it up and down, backed it out, that was it. Pulled the Cadillac underneath it, and it's been sitting here ever since. So, I decided to put this thing to work. I have never seen the underside of the Cadillac when my face wasn't pressed like right against it, so I don't really know what's going on under there. I changed the oil on it, and I've had to put the exhaust back in after it fell out. But whatever. So today, I'm gonna pull this thing out and see if I can fit it on the lift. I don't know why, but I am indeed nervous about it. Yeah. What's the point of having it if we don't use it? Let's get after it, right? And step one is always getting them fired back up. It never feels like I'm letting them sit, and then I realize it's been since forever. That's good news. Good news? I used to drive this thing all the time. I gotta drive it more. Man, this is a tight fit. Whew. All right. How about you, dog? All right, plenty more to investigate while we're under there. The transmission has always leaked just a little bit. I did have it rebuilt when I first got the car. Car wouldn't go anywhere. Just one of those things, had to be done. So, yeah. And I guess I've got a little bit of an oil leak. And I guess we'll just see what's going on under there. That's kind of the point, isn't it? Dog, this is coming down on your dog brain. Okay. I don't know why, but I am nervous to drive this thing onto the lift. It is like the size of the lift, and that's probably why. Well, that's why. Okay. So we just snatched the exhaust right off the car. Throw it right there. The question is, what is still attached? Because we're not on the lift, so I can't lift it up. Backing it up seems like a terrible idea. And yeah, are we stuck? I don't know. I just don't know. But I guess if I could get that last exhaust hanger off. All right, so those U-bolts caught the edge of the lift. It's not a big deal. Wouldn't be the first time this exhaust fell out. May have put it back in with self-drilling screws. So we definitely caused a little bit of damage, but the amount of damage is, well, relative to the poor work I did last time this happened. Well, I got the exhaust up over the edge of the lift that it caught on, and I think it will continue to slide forward if I pull the car forward, but I can't really back up either. I don't mind the damaged exhaust. That's not a big deal. It wasn't particularly well done to begin with. It was just very difficult to get under the car, so we'll address that in a minute. But what I don't want to do is turn the exhaust into like a lance that pokes a hole in something that I don't want to fix. So I'm gonna move forward a few feet. I'm hoping this will work. It might. Don't know. Turn it that way. The view of the car sounds great though. Take a look. Feels a lot more narrow and a lot less long than it is, but feels like we're in good shape. Didn't crash into that 283. The wheels are against these stops. We'll chalk the back wheels. Raise the car up a little bit, see if we can fix the exhaust, see about the leaks, all that jazz. I may be getting pulled away for a more different project that, you know, came to my attention like 30 seconds ago. Like starting a kitchen renovation right now. But by the magic of editing, I may just do a costume change and we'll be right back. Okay, door, that was dramatic. It's in park, the wheels are chalked. Just, you know, reviewing my paperwork here. I got these big Suburban up in a cornfield. You can put it anywhere. It doesn't need to be bolted down, confirmed over and over. It's more than rated. So let's see what we can do. I think I'm gonna try to get it up a little bit, and then I gotta put a tubifer or something in there to hold the exhaust up because it, well, fell out. Maybe I should do that first. Let's go get a 2x4. Well, considering things didn't particularly go as planned, really, I've just got this piece of old deck board catching our very loose exhaust so that hopefully as the car goes up, it doesn't just continue to fall and bend and all that jazz. But now, I guess the moment we've all been waiting for. Yep. I mean, so far so good, right? Still nervous. Here we go. Just, you know, caution here. Caution. Guess we're still doing good. so it's on the highest lock I can get it onto because of this roll-up door. I mean, granted, this will be, they don't make cars a lot bigger than this. I think this is longer than my long bed 65 C10 pickup truck, which is impressive. So, I mean, in theory, if I move some junk around, because this lift is, you know, mobile, we could slide it forward a little bit, and that would give me, you know, but I need to come in about a foot. So I just something I'll think about in the future. But for now, I can get under there and work. It's all right. I think I'm gonna grab a rolly chair and slide under, just see what we got. See what's going on. I've never been under this car. Never been under. I mean, rolling under it, changing oil, face into the floorboards, and like barely squeaking under it to fix the exhaust, which was in this video when it fell out. All right, let's look. This is one example of why I wanted this type of system. You can see that these are cut holes. This steel tab goes into the hole and then the lift rests on it. So basically the weight of the car is forcing that to be locked in place. In order to unlock it, we'll have to lift the car a little bit, and then this pulls out of the way to drop the car down. So at this point, it's not sitting on the cable anymore. It's sitting on just the weight of the steel fingers, right? So that's kind of the deal. You know, brought it up and then lowered it down until it landed on it, and then we're good to go. So, all right, let's grab a thingy. It's pretty cool, actually. So, all right. There's my real ghetto repair. And it split right out of that, which is, you know, no big deal. Let's figure out what else is going on here. Oh, we have some very mediocre floor pan replacement. I'm not shocked. It is indeed a convertible, but it does look like they used proper patches. They just did a, you know, an amateur job of repairing. Frame looks pretty good. Shocks look new. It's a little, actually that's just undercoating. Interesting, that's not even rust. That's just undercoating, so that's good. I mean, this exhaust is class A. Amateur, just made out of pre-bent stuff that you get from the auto parts store. Hey, look. How did these get here? I mean, really, how did those get there? What on earth? Could they have fallen in front of the dashboard? You guys, that was weird. It's been mere moments for you out there in TV land, but around here it's been one full calendar week. The temperature has dropped 40 degrees. We had to take a brief hiatus because my better half came out and said, hey, are you ready to renovate the kitchen? And I kid you not, this was late on a Thursday, and I dropped everything because I've been chomping at the bit. So, a week later, let's remember what the hell we were trying to do. No, I remember. It was going to be an oil change, and apparently we're going to repair the exhaust because, well, that's what happened. I called, you know, this kind of car, I call a happy car because it waves at you when it goes by. You know, basically a convertible can be a big old wash basin. As soon as the top really starts to fail, the water just comes in and sits until it finds its way out, and it will make its own holes. All cars will make their own drain holes if you wait long enough. Anyway, that's actually not so bad. Now, the exhaust is very much not where I want it to be, but we can go over there and take a look at that. I mean, taking a close look at this, it's kind of strange how semi-pro this exhaust is, because this is like some galvanized, not mandrel bent, very much off the auto parts store bends, like looks like the crinkle fries. But then it's complicated how it comes in off the headers and swings around, and this is a custom made piece. But then they went with 2 exhaust clamps. Now, I will say, I do like separating the main tube from the rear of the exhaust in case you got to drop something or pull the motor or drop the headers or whatever. Gives you a little bit of room because, you know, as big as the car is, the motor is also huge. So I'm into that. But I only need to clamp on one side. It could be welded on one side or the other as long as there's one clamp to remove it. But anyway, that's a coupler there. Now, while I'm critiquing this guy's work, we'll point at the last time this thing fell out. I went ahead and just put a self-tapping screw right there. That was my solution. And it tore right out. What had happened was, I guess while I was driving this thing on, the front wheels were up on the lift, and then these little jimmy jams were hanging down, and they were just enough to catch right here on the back of the lift and snag that thing right back about an inch or two, and that made the exhaust drop, which turned this into a pole vaulting unit, so we couldn't drive forward. So I shoved a 2x4 into there and drove it up here, lifted it up, and went and renovated a kitchen. So now, eyes on the prize, I gotta get back to renovating. Nope, already did that. Gotta get back to the oil change, because at some point, something got stuck in the carburetor and it was just dumping gas, so that oil's pretty diluted, which is a shame because it was royal purple with very little mileage on it and very expensive, but that's all right. It's rebuilt 429 Cadillac big block, so an extra 40 bucks of cheap insurance is way less sad than dumping some expensive royal purple that is completely diluted with gas. Maybe we'll do that and decide what to do about this exhaust while it drains. How's that for a plan? Pretty good plan.
All right, gang, I can't say I've ever been good about changing my oil on any vehicle. In fact, I've always considered my vehicle sort of self-oil changing, meaning they've always leaked bad enough that I just kind of filled it up. However, I was watching Uncle Tony's video on Slag Hammer, and a bunch of a bunch of gasoline had gotten into the oil pan and thinned out the oil, and that caused major engine damage. So, got me thinking, last time I really drove this thing, I had a problem, and I thought the problem that I was having was that I was out of gas. But it turned out, by some deduction, that I was not out of gas. In fact, it was pumping way too much gas. So I ended up with a lot of gas in the oil, plus what I pumped in there by like trying to restart it by pumping the gas. I never did figure out exactly what caused it, because I never cracked open the carburetor, because it just seemed to have fixed itself by the next day. So I don't know if the piece of trash dissolved or it's still floating around in there or what. So that said, I decided I had to change the oil, take it for some drives, and it is quite possible that a little piece of trash passed like a Cadillac kidney stone, but I just don't know. And that was a long time ago, gang. I mean, this oil isn't terrible, but don't want to risk the bearings on what I believe to be a freshly rebuilt motor. It smells like gas though, so that's enough, isn't it? And this car is low. I mean, low. So getting under here to change the oil before was basically like sliding your face in and just hoping for the best. This is much, much better. All right, well, you just keep doing your thing. I'm gonna go get a rag. On these 429 Cadillacs, the oil filter is actually way up here in the front, which is unusual to me. Not unusual for a 429 Cadillac. What are the odds this oil filter comes out? Slim to none, right? The odds that I spill stuff everywhere, 100%. It is weird. These go in at an angle, which makes a mess. Yep, pen on the ground, just not in the right place there. That's pretty thick, that's good news. It's interesting, new Wix filters are white, so it's easy to Sharpie on the date that, you change the oil filter. However, I will say in my case, I still forget to do that most of the time. Well, gang, now it's exhaust time, and it's not like I want to be lazy about it. There's a certain reluctance to make this permanent while it's on the lift and then try to drive it off. So I guess I'm gonna start working front to back and see if I can get it on there with clamps, because, well, I prefer to clamp it before I weld it anyway. And then we'll see how strongly I feel about the quality of my job. I'm not expecting much. I think it's gonna right out of here clamped, and we're just gonna rotate the clamps so they don't hang up on stuff. I'm here. So the first thing I gotta do, I think, is
trying to get this back to being lined up to where it used to be, because that kind of functioned. So I'm gonna actually use the stripped out screw here as a key to sort of figure out what we had going on. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. So now that the muffler is flat, I feel like that's an okay starting point to work from. That's something. I feel like I ought to rotate these fellas here just because it's kind of the middle of the wheelbase. I'm not 100% sure what caught, but you know, the ideal thing would be to have it tucked up into the frame. And in theory, you could go up just a little bit more and probably did factory, but you know, this is semi-pro work and who am I to judge? That's sort of my best work is semi-pro. Hello? 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 I had a hammer, but I lost it. Oh, got it. Oh, hey, how about that? Okay, yeah, sure. Then I can make that happen. All right. Is that better? Let's look. Yeah, I don't know. That looked a lot better from under there, but I'm not sure it's way better. It's still super low, but let's see. I mean, it may roll off of the lift. May. I'm gonna lower this thing down and fill her up with oil before I forget. Okay, the Eagle has landed. We're back on Earth. And this is the first time I've ever used this lift, really. And this car weighs many thousands of pounds. So I've seen enough horror shows on the internet, on YouTube, of one lock catching or the cable going slack and the whole car going cattywampus. I genuinely believe this is a sturdily built lift, but your first go around, I think you'd be nervous too. Not gonna lie to you guys, if this was a small block Chevy, I would probably treat it like dog do, and it wouldn't be getting an oil change for another 7,000 miles, no matter how much gas was actually in the oil. This, on the other hand, it's a tall order to try to find another one of these guys. So for today's project, on that note, we are using Royal Purple. I hear it's the most fanciest. Give it a full drink of the sauce. I'm gonna find out exactly how many quarts this is supposed to take because it might be over 5. It's a 7-liter engine. I don't speak liters. It's 429 cubic inches. Although this Royal Purple oil comes out dark as night and it's purple, so it's very difficult to tell just by the look of it if it's totally toast. So if you noticed how black the oil was when I was draining it, well, it was this color when it went in. I am very much wondering how I cheesed this belt. I replaced them recently, and they were pretty tired, but I've never gotten a fan belt on twisted. I didn't know it was even possible, but I did. It appears to be the one going to the power steering, so we'll take a look at that here in a second. That's fascinating. Not only did I twist it, it's also not in the same grooves. It's in the back groove on the top pulley and the front groove on the bottom. I did that, ladies and gentlemen. That was me, 100%. Absolutely did it. What on earth? All right. Well, by the power of life, another night has passed since we were here. I did swap around the power steering belt. The belt, it's pretty tore up. So I took a picture of it. Next time I'm at the auto parts store, I'll snag another one. Don't know how I did that, but I sure did do it. A week and 2 days later, full of oil, Royal Purple stuff, new filter, no more gas in it. The exhaust is back on it, and it may or may not drive itself off the lift without getting hung up. We're gonna find out, aren't we? Yep, did that already. She needs a bath. There we go. That's the original radio you're hearing, not even kidding you. We'll get you in here in a second. I gotta get the garage door and everything open, dog. By a couple inches, so still nerve-wracking. All right, gang, I guess that's that. The Cadillac is idling outside. You know, tearing the exhaust off on our first time up on the lift was a little nerve-wracking, but you know what? We survived. Exhaust is back on the car. Car's out there running. It's kind of a nice day. I'll take the dog around the block, and I gotta get another car up on the lift to check out a power steering leak. All right, gang, thanks for watching Between the Sharks. We will see you next time. Good luck on your projects out there. I'm gonna go take this thing around the block. Yeah. Not bad, even on a chilly day, huh?